G'day legends, just doing a quick video on the Guppy tubs. I do get asked a lot of questions on how I set the tubs up, so I'm just going to do a quick knock one up from scratch because I had a tub here that needed to be cleaned out. So this is the round tubs that I use. Obviously no fish is going in this one just yet, I've only just put the water in. But one thing I put in every one for the bottom is plenty of hornwort. There'll be some other weed mixed in amongst it, but I'll throw a fair bit of that in. I'll just grab some of this out of the other tubs, so I would actually put in more than this normally, but I'm running light, so. But plenty of hornwort goes in there, just clumps of everything really. So frog bit, which is a good one because the root systems go down, and the fry for the guppies can hide in there. They love it. So there's obviously that's the hornwort, and then there's also, I've got milfoil that goes in there as well. But I'll get a nice thick layer in the tub. Obviously salvinia, I think, is this stuff. As you can see, this gets a big root system that hangs down into the water. It's probably not a great example of that piece, but I make them nice and thick, a lot thicker than what I've put in this one. This is just to show you. Tip it all in there. So obviously that'll spread out. Obviously the hornwort and everything will kind of end up at the bottom or in that mid range, because all these floaters will end up covering the top, and it forces this stuff down. So middle layer of the tub will be all this, top layer will be frog bit and salvinia, and I do them pretty thick. So generally, and another thing I use, which I'll just grab out of the pond next to me when I'm light on for weed, when I'm filling so many tubs, is I buy this fake vine from Kmart. I cut it up into squares and I cable tie it into like little, just fold it over and cable tie it, and I'll quite often shove that down in to that middle layer and then cover it over. So a lot of my tubs have got them underneath, and that just gives you another area for fry to hide. Females, when they're having their babies, like to find a nice secure place. So I'll just come into the next tub. This hasn't got guppies, but this is exactly the same system. I'll have these in it, these tubs with the holes floating in the top like that. So they will sit there and float. I drop some weed in them, and when they have the fry, I can guarantee you when I walk down here and lift that out, these tubs will be chock-a-block full of fry every time. And they hide from the adults so they don't get eaten. But yeah, obviously most of my tanks have this stuff in it with the root system as well. Yeah. So there you go. It's not easy obviously getting so much weed for so many tubs. I'm always falling short. So that's all I put in my tubs. There's no air, there's no oxygen getting pumped into these. This is it. I have thought about putting airline out here, but to be honest with you, I just very rarely lose any fish and just haven't seen the need to at this stage. The guppy tub over here, as you can see, I'll try to catch some guppies out. I have looking back through some photos to try and see what I started with in this tub, but I think it was, I know I had one real big female that was pregnant, 5 or 6 males, and then there was 5 or 6 just juvies. So we started with a dozen. Did add a couple of random males along the way, and then I added a few random double blue swordtails too. So all up, it's probably had a good 20 dropped in here in total. But obviously they've bred a lot more than that. There's plenty of varieties in there now, plenty of colour. I'll try and catch a few up and put them in a tub to show you. So obviously there's other ways to do it depending on what results you're after. if these were more line bred guppies and you wanted to obviously have greater results, more like breeding for profit, I guess, or trying to get a line established with the pure lines, you would probably do it a different way. Although this will certainly get good results, but the results could be better if you do it a different way. But anyway, you'll scoop guppies all day out of here. There's literally hundreds in there now. I'll just show you what I've scooped out, just to show you some varieties and the colours that they'll throw out. So, plenty of blues. As you can see, there's even antlers in there. Now, I certainly didn't put any antlers in this tub, but I can see a chili antler and I can see a black bar antler. Some nice reds there, and some really good blues. Some cobra patterns, some of the yellows with a bit of the flame on the tail. There's a bit of a mixed bag in there, that's for sure. Obviously, in this tub, sun's going down now, so it's not. If I had done this early in the day when the sun was out, these colours would be a lot more vibrant. But there's certainly some interesting guppies in there. So this is just a mixed tub, so they'll just throw out random pet shop guppies. Obviously there's bucket loads in this pond still. Izzy coming over to say hello. Can't help herself, has to be a part of it. But yeah, this is all I do, and as you can see, this is the other. I always try to have one of these big iris things in here because of the root ball at the bottom is wicked for the fish. Not just guppies, but everything I've got out here, so you'll find one of them just about in every tub. But like I said, thick layer of Salvinia and the root system, as you can see, that hangs down obviously into the water. It spreads out a bit and the fry can hide in there, so good for fry surviving, I guess. So that's how I set up my guppy tubs in summer. As you can see, there's plenty of fry in there still. They're still breeding, even though it's just starting to get closer to the weather where we're in for a hot spell this week. I think the next 5 or 6 days around 40. At some stage she'll start backing off, and I would say by the end of March, so maybe another 3 weeks, they'll be looking to come inside. But we'll just wait and see how the weather goes. Play it by ear. I'm in South Australia, so hot summers, but once it does back off, we'll get some real cold nights and the tubs will cool down and we'll get too cold. So that's how I do it. Next year I'm going to have several of these tubs just for guppies, but I'm going to be breeding the different varieties obviously outdoors. All the ones I have in my fish room are going to come outside for summer, because the results, I just find it just works better. It's a lot easier, and then I'll use the tanks inside the fish room for different fish, so one's not quite as hardy. So yeah, there you go, that's how I do the guppies for anyone that was interested. Pretty much you can buy any tub, fill it up with water, let it sit for a good couple of weeks before I put fish in it. I try to have as much weed in there as I possibly can, but obviously still giving them space to swim. And yeah, the rest is history. As you know, guppies breed well. They do predate heavily, so that's why you need so much weed. The other way to do it would be to grab a large tub. So just for an example, like a tub like this, I would grab another tub that floats in here. It's full of small holes. Females would go in there, have their fry, and then the fry would swim out like these ones and grow up in the tub, and the adults would be removed obviously and put back in with the males in another tub or tank to do their business. So plenty of ways to do it, just whatever suits you and depending on what results you want. If you want to maximise your results, I would say to have the tub in there with the small holes and just have the females in it, and you go very close to 100% success rate. Something like this, especially when it gets crowded like this one, success rate will obviously drop because fry will get predated on. But obviously if you keep catching out excess animals that you don't need in there, obviously the chances of survival will be greater. But either way, both work. There's no right or wrong way, it just really depends what you're trying to achieve. If I was doing this to make money and was trying to make profit, I would probably still do both ways. But obviously the more expensive guppies, I would probably do the tub system with the fry, females separated, having their fry. And for these cheaper guppies that I just provide to pet shops and get very little for, I just let them breed, and what happens happens. And just the mixed ones are cool because you don't know what you're going to end up with. But yeah, that's it everyone, thanks for watching. That was just a little update on the guppies. Please subscribe, like, share. I'm over 800 subscribers now, I think, and still got that target of 1,000. So thanks everyone that has subscribed and watches, and everyone that comments. Please comment on ideas others have, especially for outdoor breeding, because that's something I'm very keen to do next summer, is really ramp up the breeding outside. So, but anyway, legends, have a great night, and I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers.